Roblox has officially entered the stage of corporate decision-making where you start wondering if somebody in the executive meeting room is spinning a giant wheel labeled "Make the situation worse." Because somehow, after years of controversy surrounding child safety on the platform, Roblox managed to create one of the strangest public relations moments imaginable. Chris Hansen, the guy most people associate with confronting predators, was banned from Roblox while publicly demonstrating a Roblox game where users were allegedly approaching strangers and immediately trying to move conversations onto Snapchat. This happened live, in front of an audience, during an event about crime and online safety. You couldn't write a more ridiculous scene if you were trying to make Roblox look like the villain in a low-budget corporate thriller. The story starts with a Roblox creator known as Schlep, who says he spent years investigating predators operating on the platform. According to him, his investigations contributed to 6 predators being arrested, with 3 eventually convicted. Roblox responded by terminating his accounts and threatening legal action, including allegations involving computer fraud. Roblox also released a statement characterizing his activities as vigilantism and arguing that his methods created risks of their own. From Schlepp's perspective, this wasn't simply a disagreement between a YouTuber and a company. His argument was that Roblox was effectively punishing somebody who was exposing problems the company should have been addressing itself. And that is where this entire situation started getting significantly uglier. Schlepp then spent a huge amount of time publicly discussing Roblox's safety practices. He appeared in interviews, documentaries, podcasts, and political discussions. The central argument was pretty simple. Roblox is used by an enormous number of children, yet the safety systems protecting those children allegedly weren't keeping up with the scale of the platform. Then, Roblox introduced age estimation technology, requiring users to undergo facial scanning before accessing certain communication features. On paper, this sounds like the sort of thing you would expect from a company trying to make its platform safer. The problem was that people quickly began finding examples where the system allegedly classified adults as children and children as adults, which is a slightly uncomfortable problem for an age verification system. If you build a machine specifically to determine whether someone is a child or an adult, and the machine starts getting the answer wrong in both directions, you have essentially created a digital bouncer who looks at someone's face and says, "Honestly, I have no idea. Go inside." People also reportedly found ways around the system, while age-verified Roblox accounts could apparently be obtained through third-party methods. Schlepp described the result as essentially creating the appearance of improved safety without solving the deeper problems he had been talking about. And then there was the political side of the story. Schlepp argued that Roblox had been lobbying around proposed legislation concerning children's online safety. His criticism was that some of these proposals could reduce the ability of victims to pursue lawsuits against Roblox and limit the ability of state attorneys general to take action. Those are serious claims, and the video presents them as part of a broader argument that Roblox's legal and political strategy was focused on reducing corporate liability. Then things got even stranger. Roblox executives began appearing in interviews and podcasts to explain their approach to safety. During one discussion, an executive described the problem of predators on Roblox as an opportunity. The intention appears to have been describing an opportunity to improve safety systems, but the wording was spectacularly unfortunate. When you're talking about predators targeting children, calling the situation an opportunity is the kind of sentence that immediately gets clipped, reposted, and thrown into the internet's wood chipper. You don't even need to manufacture outrage when somebody hands you the raw materials like that. Schlepp also criticized Roblox's moderation infrastructure. He argued that the company had a low moderator-to-user ratio and claimed spending on trust and safety had declined, while Roblox's user base expanded. The video also discusses allegations about outsourced moderation and moderators being paid extremely low amounts while reviewing disturbing material. Again, these are claims made in the documentary, but they form an important part of Schlepp's argument. His position is that Roblox's safety problem isn't simply a handful of bad users sneaking through the cracks. He believes the infrastructure itself is fundamentally inadequate for the size and nature of the platform. Then we arrive at Chris Hansen. If you somehow don't know who Chris Hansen is, he's basically the human embodiment of the phrase, "Why don't you have a seat right over there?" He spent years confronting alleged predators, and his presence alone carries a very specific cultural weight. So Schlepp had an idea. Since he claimed Roblox had banned him and threatened legal consequences if he accessed the platform, why not have Chris Hansen demonstrate what these experiences actually looked like? This happened during a convention where Schlepp and Chris Hansen were speaking to thousands of people. Hansen entered a Roblox experience designed around random matchmaking and communication. The game was reportedly inspired by platforms such as Omegle, which had become infamous for criminal activity involving minors. Hansen joined. Within seconds, the situation began looking exactly like the kind of thing Schlepp had been warning about. a user approached Hansen's account and quickly asked for Snapchat information. Remember, Hansen was presenting himself as a female Roblox account for the demonstration. The point was to show how quickly someone could attempt to move a conversation away from Roblox's own platform and into another messaging service. Then another user appeared, and then another. Eventually, Hansen encountered an account with the wonderfully subtle username FreakForReal7, which sounds less like a Roblox username and more like the name generated when every normal username has already been taken. They started interacting with the account. Then Hansen was suddenly kicked. At first, they thought the game moderators had removed him. Then they realized something else had happened. His Roblox account had been banned, live, on stage, in front of thousands of people. The explanation given was that the account had violated Roblox's terms of service for inappropriate content or behavior. And this is where the whole thing becomes almost absurd. Chris Hansen was inside a Roblox experience demonstrating how strangers were allegedly approaching users and trying to move conversations to Snapchat. During that demonstration, Roblox banned Chris Hansen for inappropriate behavior. The man whose entire career is associated with confronting predators had somehow become the person receiving the Roblox ban hammer. You couldn't design a better piece of accidental comedy. Schlepp argues that Roblox had been monitoring the event and intervened specifically because Hansen was demonstrating the platform's problems publicly. Roblox could dispute that interpretation, and the video does not independently establish who initiated the ban or exactly why the account was selected at that moment. But from the perspective presented in the documentary, the timing was extremely suspicious. The strangest part was what happened afterward. Schlepp says the same experience had been demonstrated shortly before Hansen's appearance without the same moderation action occurring. He also claims the game itself was eventually removed, only to be re-uploaded later. According to the video, the account belonging to the user who allegedly asked Hansen for Snapchat information remained active for a period afterward, while Hansen's demonstration account was banned. Again, that is Schlepp's interpretation of the events. But the optics are brutal. Because if you are Roblox, you probably don't want the headline to be Chris Hansen banned from Roblox while exposing predators. That is a headline generated by the universe itself. The video then zooms out from the Hansen incident and argues that these random chat experiences were not isolated examples. Schlepp claims some of these games accumulated millions of visits before removal. He also says he had reported similar experiences to Roblox and people connected to Roblox's safety programs before his account termination. The argument is essentially this: if dangerous experiences repeatedly appear, attract huge numbers of players, get reported, get removed, and then return under another name, the problem isn't solved by deleting one game. You have created a repeating cycle. Remove game. Someone uploads another version. Players arrive. Predators arrive. Reports happen. Game gets removed. New version appears. Congratulations, you have invented whack-a-mole with child safety. The video then takes another strange turn involving Roblox's chief safety officer, Matt Kaufman. Users reportedly found Roblox badges on Kaufman's profile associated with experiences Schlepp had previously criticized. One of those games was described as a random chat experience that had accumulated hundreds of millions of visits before being removed by its developer. This led to speculation online that Kaufman had personally been using those experiences for inappropriate reasons. Schlepp specifically rejects that interpretation. His argument is actually much more straightforward. If Kaufman was investigating these experiences as part of his job, then encountering them wouldn't be suspicious by itself. The problem, according to Schlepp, would be what happened after the experiences were investigated. If senior safety personnel knew how these games operated and still allowed them to remain accessible, then the question becomes whether Roblox's internal enforcement process was functioning properly. That distinction matters. Seeing a dangerous game isn't evidence of wrongdoing. Failing to address a dangerous game after identifying the problem is a completely different accusation. Schlepp argues that the larger issue is leadership. He believes Roblox has repeatedly responded to criticism with highly visible announcements, new features, public relations campaigns, and safety initiatives, while leaving fundamental moderation problems unresolved. And this is where the entire story becomes bigger than Chris Hansen getting banned. The ban is funny, the implications aren't. Roblox isn't some tiny website with 12 people and a Discord server. It's a massive platform used by millions of people, including children. When a platform reaches that scale, moderation stops being a side feature. It becomes part of the core infrastructure. If your platform is enormous, your moderation system has to be enormous too. You can't have a skyscraper-sized community protected by a garden shed. The video also discusses Roblox's handling of lawsuits and allegations from families who say children were harmed through interactions on the platform. Schlepp and Chris Hansen argue that Roblox has used arbitration agreements, confidentiality agreements, and other legal mechanisms in ways they believe limit public scrutiny. Roblox has its own legal position, and the documentary presents the allegations primarily from Schlepp's perspective. Still, the broader criticism is clear. When a company is repeatedly accused of failing to protect children, people naturally start asking whether the company's response is focused on fixing the underlying problem or controlling the consequences. That question becomes even more important when the company is simultaneously fighting lawsuits, defending its reputation, lobbying lawmakers, and promoting new safety technology. Because eventually, you reach the point where a new safety announcement isn't enough. People want to know whether the system works. And Chris Hansen, walking into a Roblox game and immediately receiving messages asking for Snapchat information, is a pretty terrible demonstration for a platform that wants to convince parents its safety systems are working perfectly. Then there is the strangest image of the entire story. Chris Hansen, standing on a stage in front of thousands of people, watching his Roblox account disappear because Roblox determined his behavior was inappropriate. Meanwhile, the very behavior he was demonstrating was supposedly happening around him. That's the kind of situation where you stop and stare at the screen for a few seconds because your brain needs to reboot. The deeper argument Schlepp makes is that his Roblox accounts were never the main point. He says the accounts were disposable. The real objective was drawing attention to children and families affected by alleged exploitation on the platform. Whether someone agrees with every accusation in the video or not, that distinction is important. This isn't really a story about a Roblox account. It's a story about what happens when a gigantic platform becomes responsible for protecting a massive population of young users and starts facing serious questions about whether its systems are good enough. Roblox has every right to defend itself against accusations it believes are false. But the public also has every right to ask uncomfortable questions. Why do problematic experiences keep returning? Why do users report dangerous behavior and still encounter it? Why do some moderation decisions appear inconsistent? How effective is age verification? How much money is being spent on human moderation? How quickly does Roblox respond to serious reports? And perhaps the most important question of all, does Roblox's safety infrastructure match the size of Roblox itself? Because if millions of children are using your platform every day, we're working on it, eventually stops being a satisfying answer. You need results. And that brings us back to Chris Hansen getting banned. There is something almost comically perfect about the symbolism. Chris Hansen walks into Roblox to demonstrate a safety problem. Users immediately start trying to move the conversation elsewhere. He continues the demonstration. Roblox bans him. Whether the ban was an automated action, a moderator response, a deliberate intervention, or something else entirely, the optics were catastrophic, because the internet doesn't need a courtroom transcript to understand irony. The irony was already standing on stage. Roblox has spent years presenting itself as a platform for creativity, games, social interaction, and young users. Schlepp's argument is that behind the bright colors and blocky avatars exists a much more complicated ecosystem where serious criminal behavior can occur. And the uncomfortable reality is that both things can be true. Roblox can be a place where millions of kids play harmless games with friends. Roblox can also contain users and communities attempting to exploit vulnerable people. The existence of one doesn't erase the other. The real question is whether the company running the platform is doing enough to deal with the second problem. That's what this entire controversy is ultimately about. Not Chris Hansen, not Schlepp, not even Roblox accounts. It's about whether a platform built around children is willing to accept the uncomfortable responsibility that comes with having millions of children on it. Because banning Chris Hansen is easy. Deleting one game is easy. Publishing another safety update is easy. The difficult part is building a system where dangerous users are consistently identified, reported, removed, and prevented from simply returning 5 minutes later with a new account. And if Roblox wants people to trust its safety systems, the company doesn't need another flashy announcement. It needs evidence. It needs measurable improvements. It needs consistent enforcement. And most importantly, it needs parents to believe their children are safer because the system works, not because the company says the system works. Until then, every time Roblox announces another revolutionary safety feature, people are going to remember the moment Chris Hansen got banned while demonstrating the exact problem everyone was trying to talk about. And honestly, if this whole situation were scripted, I'd accuse the writer of trying too hard.